Good morning. We're going to continue being outside with y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying some of the scenery. We're at Noxubee Refuge this morning, so maybe you'll enjoy that. You're probably going to hear red-winged blackbirds or some gallinules this morning, so you'll just have to listen to them along with me. We're going to start this morning in the book of 1 Samuel, so I'm going to be fighting the wind a little bit. If you go through and you stay with us through 1 Samuel, you're going to hear a lot of stories that you're used to hearing. Some of them very, very famous. Some of them you may not be as familiar with. This morning we're looking at Hannah, and the 1 Samuel chapter 1. There was a man named Elkanah, and he had two wives. One was Hannah, and one was Peninnah. I butcher a lot of these names, and I apologize for that. But basically what we're seeing here in the first chapter, and I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I'm going to give you a little bit of an insight on what's going on. Hannah was at this point was childless. She had not been able to have any children, and you have to understand the culture of this day. That was a cause of disgrace and shame on the woman. Now they certainly didn't understand everything at that point in time about biology that we would know today. But it was a cause of shame, and as the story plays out, you know, her husband loved her very much. So when he offered a sacrifice and said he would bring meat back, and he said he would bring a double portion to Hannah. He did not want things this way. Well, as they had gone to Shiloh, Hannah was weeping and was praying, and evidently praying out loud, and the priest, who was named Eli, heard Hannah, and she was basically just pouring her heart out to God because she was childless, and she was grieving over that. And Eli actually rebuked her. Eli thought she was drunk, and he rebuked her for being drunk. And she said, "No, sir," I said, "I haven't had anything to drink." And so then she went on and told him, said basically that she was praying and pouring her heart out to God because she did not have any children. Well, and Eli basically said, well, he said, you know, God grants you what you want. And so when she went home, said after that, said that she gave birth to a son, and she named her son Samuel. Well, it said in verse 21, it said, when Elkanah and all the household went up to make the annual sacrifice and his vow offering to the Lord, Hannah did not go and explain to her husband, after the child is weaned, I'll take him to appear in the Lord's presence and to stay there permanently. And Elkanah said, well, whatever's good to you. And so she stayed, and then she went back to Shiloh, and she took a three-year-old bull, half a bushel of flour, and a clay jar of wine, and said though the boy was still young, she took him to the Lord's house at Shiloh. Then they slaughtered the bull and brought the boy to Eli. So she brought her son Samuel back to Eli, and basically told the priest Eli, said, this is Samuel. He said, I'm the one that was praying for a child, and the Lord has given me this child Samuel, and now I'm giving him back to God. And she left Samuel there with Eli to serve the Lord. Now I think a couple of things here, but I think one of the big things that was going on, I think the Lord was preparing Hannah to give back to the Lord what she wanted the most. You know, and there's a lot of times, and it may be even through this virus, I mean, that God may be preparing people's hearts for certain things, and it may have taken being childless for an extended period of time, and her praying and this whole thing, God may have been preparing her heart for her to give back to him and release what she wanted the most. You know, so many times we get so enamored with things, and we won't turn loose of things, and it may be a child, and you know what, your child, your spouse, your parent can never be a place in your life higher than what God is. He will not allow it. That is idolatry, even for a child or a parent or a spouse. God is supposed to be the top priority in our life. And I think God may have been preparing Hannah for this very moment, where she could give back her own child, Samuel, into the Lord's service. And as we go through this book, you're going to see that God used Samuel, her son, in a great and mighty way. Samuel was used of God in a great way. And you're going to see Samuel was a very important part of God's work, and God used him. And all of this because Hannah was willing to do what God wanted her to do, and that was to give her child back to him. Certainly, we're not talking about sacrifice. She just released Samuel at a young age to be in the service of the Lord, and God used Samuel from that day forward. All this because Hannah was willing to do what she had promised, even though she went childless for a long time. You know, are we willing to give up things that are important to us, that may be a hindrance or may be an idol to us? And Hannah was willing to dedicate her child into the service of the Lord, and her heart was pure, and God blessed her because of it. So, you know, search your heart. If God's asking you to give things up, it may be a possession, it may be anything, and you know, what are we allowing in our life that to come between us and God? What are we allowing to be more important to us than God is? God doesn't want anything between us and Him. He wants to be the most important thing. And you know, again, because of Hannah's sacrifice, God used Samuel. Because of our sacrifice, what can God do? Remember that. Don't put anything in your life more important than the Lord. Father, we just come to you. We thank you for a beautiful day. Father, we thank you for the sunshine. We thank you for the birds that we hear. And Father, we thank you for just being able to get out in your creation. And Father, we just thank you that you are faithful. And Father, we just pray that nothing comes between us and you. We don't allow any idols in our life that are more important than you are. And Father, we just pray that everybody, we can search our own hearts and we can see. And Father, we see your faithfulness. And Father, we just want to be faithful to you. All these things in Christ's name we pray. Amen. Y'all have a great day.
Okay guys, I'm going to pan around and show you a little more of the scenery. I apologize for the shaky camera. We forgot our tripod, so it's been a little shakier with Jonathan, but we're glad you're here and I'm just going to show you a little more of the scenery.